When was the last time you looked in the mirror and actually felt good about what you saw? Not just checking your hair or whether your shirt was straight, but truly seeing a man who looks sharp, composed, a man who has his life under control. Because here's the truth most men over 40 never hear. You are not past your prime. You are standing in it. Not despite your age, but because of it. The problem isn't time. The problem is no one ever taught you how to show it. 1. Your fit changes everything. Before style, before color, before the price of your clothes. Your fit speaks first. When a shirt hangs from your shoulders like it belongs to another man, people may not know what is wrong, but they feel it. The mind reads loose, shapeless clothing as a lack of control. Not always consciously, but silently. In psychology, this is close to what researchers call enclothed cognition. The idea that what you wear can influence how you think, how you behave, and how others read you. A 2012 study by Haho Adam and Adam Galinsky found that clothing can affect attention and mental performance, depending on both the meaning of the clothing and the physical act of wearing it. So when a man wears clothes that fit with structure, he doesn't just look sharper. He often stands differently, moves differently, feels more prepared. You can see this in real life. Steve Jobs wore almost the same thing every day. A black turtleneck, jeans, and sneakers. Simple, repeated, uncomplicated. But it became powerful because it was intentional. His uniform was shaped around clarity, focus, and identity. According to reports based on Walter Isaacson's biography, Jobs' black turtlenecks were made by designer Issey Miyake, and Jobs kept many of them neatly stacked in his closet. That is the lesson. Not that you should dress like Steve Jobs, but that your clothes should serve the man you are becoming. Most men over 40 make the opposite mistake. They keep wearing shirts from years ago, pants that bunch at the shoes, jackets that hang wide at the waist, clothes chosen for comfort, but now carrying the message of surrender. At first, it seems harmless. But every morning, the mirror gives you feedback. And if what you see looks tired, hidden, or unfinished, your mind begins to believe it. A man does not need expensive clothes. He needs clothes that respect his frame. The shoulder seam should land where your shoulder ends. The shirt should give your chest room, without floating around your body. The trousers should sit cleanly at the waist, then fall without collapsing into piles of fabric. This is not vanity. This is order. Giorgio Armani understood this better than almost anyone. He built a legacy on quiet elegance, not noise. One of his most repeated lines is, "Elegance is not about being noticed. It's about being remembered." That is what proper fit does. It does not shout. It stays in the room after you leave. So when you notice your clothes are too large, understand what the sign is telling you. You are not being comfortable. You may be hiding. And when you are hiding, the first correction is not confidence. It is precision. Take the shirts you already own. Bring in the waist. Fix the sleeves. Hem the trousers. Shape the jacket. Not tight. Not young. Not flashy. Just clean. A man over 40 does not need to chase attention. He needs to remove what weakens his presence. Because when your clothes fit your body starts to carry itself with more authority. And when a man looks like he has stopped hiding, the world notices. 2. Grooming is silent respect. After 40, neglect becomes visible. Not in loud ways, but in small, quiet signals. Dull skin, dry texture, unkempt hair. Details most men ignore, but everyone sees. When you catch your reflection and something feels tired, it's rarely about age. It's about care. There's a shift that happens as a man gets older. At 25, the body forgives you. At 40, it reflects you. Psychologically, humans are wired to read the face first. Studies in social perception show that within milliseconds, people form impressions about health, discipline, and even trustworthiness, based largely on facial cues and grooming. Not because they are judging you harshly, but because the brain is built to read patterns fast. So when your skin looks neglected, The mind translates it as fatigue, or lack of control. And when your grooming is clean, consistent, intentional, it reads as stability. You see this clearly in men who age with presence. Take George Clooney. He didn't try to look younger. He didn't chase trends. He refined what was already there. His hair turned gray. But it stayed shaped, controlled, deliberate. His skin aged. But never looked abandoned. And because of that, he didn't lose presence with time. He gained it. There's a real-world truth most men quietly experience. A man wakes up, washes his face properly, takes 2 minutes to apply moisturizer, keeps his hair clean, trimmed, intentional. He walks differently that day. Not because he is trying to impress anyone, but because he feels in order. That's not vanity. That's alignment. The mistake many men make is thinking grooming needs to be complicated. It doesn't. It needs to be consistent. Wash your face morning and night. Not with whatever soap is nearby, but something made for your skin. Moisturize. Because dry skin doesn't just age you. It drains presence from your face. Use basic SPF. Not for appearance today, but for the man you'll be in 10 years. Then comes your hair. Hair carries identity. And when it's left untouched for too long, it signals that you stop paying attention. If you're still wearing the same haircut from 15 years ago, it's not loyalty. It's avoidance. Find a real barber. Not someone rushing through 10 clients an hour, but someone who understands shape, balance, proportion. Let another man with skill show you how to frame your face again. And if your hair has turned gray, do not fight it. Refine it. Because gray, when it's clean and controlled, does not signal decline. It signals experience. As Anderson Cooper once embraced without apology. His natural gray became part of his identity. Not something to hide, but something to stand on. That is the difference. Neglected gray looks tired. Refined gray looks deliberate. So when you notice your reflection looking worn, understand what it's telling you. It's not asking you to become someone else. It's asking you to take ownership again. Because grooming is not about perfection. It is about respect. And a man who respects himself in small, daily ways is a man others trust, without needing a reason. 3. Your colors carry weight. After 40, color is no longer decoration. It becomes signal. When you open your closet and see only black, gray, navy, it feels safe. Nothing wrong, nothing risky. But over time, it becomes invisible. On the other side, some men hold on to colors from another life. Brighter tones, louder combinations. Pieces that no longer match the man they've become. And something feels off. Not because the colors are wrong, but because they no longer align with your presence. The human brain associates color with emotion and stability. Deeper tones tend to signal control, groundedness, and reliability. Lighter or louder tones can signal energy, but also inconsistency if not balanced. So when your color choices lack depth, people don't consciously judge you. But they don't feel anchored by you either. You can see this clearly in men who understand quiet presence. Take Daniel Craig. Off-screen, his wardrobe rarely shouts. Olive, navy, brown, charcoal. Colors that sit close to the earth. Nothing loud, nothing forced. But everything feels intentional. And because of that, he carries weight in a room without saying much. You see the same pattern in real life. One man dresses in bright, mismatched tones, trying to bring attention to himself. Another man wears simple pieces. But the colors are deep, balanced, grounded, without effort. One feels scattered. The other feels stable. And stability is attractive. Because after 40, people are no longer looking for noise. They are looking for presence. That is why rich tones work. Deep olive, warm camel, burgundy, chocolate brown, slate blue, even your navy and charcoal. When combined with intention, they become something more. They reflect maturity. They carry quiet confidence. They photograph well, because they hold light instead of fighting it. There is a reason men who understand style move toward these tones over time. Not because they were told to, but because they feel right. As Tom Ford once said, dressing well is a form of good manners. And good manners are never loud. So when you notice your wardrobe feels flat or disconnected from who you are now, understand what it's telling you. You are not lacking options. You are lacking alignment. Start refining your palette. Keep the foundation neutral, but introduce depth. One grounded color at a time. Not to impress, but to reflect the man you've become. Because when your colors carry weight, your presence does too. 4. Posture speaks before you do. Before you say a word, your body has already spoken. When you walk into a room with rounded shoulders, head slightly lowered, steps uncertain, people may not think about it, but they feel it. The human brain is built to read posture as a signal of status and confidence. Research in nonverbal behavior shows that open, upright posture is associated with authority and control, while closed, collapsed posture is often linked to submission or withdrawal. This happens instantly. No words required. So when your body folds inward, the message is quiet but clear. Not strong enough. Not certain enough. And no clothing, no matter how sharp, can override that signal. You see this in everyday life. A man dressed perfectly, expensive suit, polished shoes, but he walks with a slight hunch, eyes down, shoulders tight. He fades. Another man enters with simple clothes, nothing remarkable, but his posture is grounded. Shoulders back, chin level, steps steady. Without effort, the room adjusts to him. Because presence is not built from appearance alone. It is carried through the body. Look at Keanu Reeves. He rarely tries to dominate a space. He doesn't demand attention. But when he stands, when he moves, there is alignment. Nothing exaggerated, nothing forced. Just a quiet sense of control. And that holds weight. You've likely felt this yourself. On days when you stand upright, breathe deeper, move with intention, something shifts internally. You think clearer. You respond slower. You feel more in control. That's not coincidence. The body influences the mind as much as the mind influences the body. So when your posture collapses, it doesn't just change how others see you. It changes how you experience yourself. That is why this matters. Not as a performance, but as alignment. So when you notice your shoulders drifting forward, your head dropping, your stance shrinking, understand what is happening. You are closing yourself off. And the correction is simple. Stand with your shoulders back and down. Keep your chin level, not raised, not lowered. Let your chest open naturally. When you stand still, plant your feet firmly, about shoulder width apart. Do not fold your arms out of habit. Do not lean without reason. Take up your space. Without apology. Not aggressively. Not dramatically. Quietly. As Jordan Peterson often said, stand up straight with your shoulders back. Not as a slogan, but as a principle. Because when the body aligns, the mind follows. And when both align, a man no longer needs to prove anything. He is already felt. 5. Details separate the ordinary from the exceptional. After 40, it's no longer about how much you wear. It's about how precisely you choose. When a man looks almost put together, but something feels slightly off, it's usually not the main pieces. It's the details. A watch too loud. Shoes worn down at the edges. A belt that doesn't match. Small things. But the mind is trained to read patterns. And when the small things are inconsistent, it questions the whole. In behavioral psychology, this aligns with what's known as the halo effect. People form an overall impression of you based on a few visible cues. If your details are clean, intentional, they assume discipline extends further. If your details are careless, they assume the same. Not always consciously, but consistently. You see this in men who understand restraint. Take Ryan Gosling. His style is rarely complex. A simple jacket. A clean shirt. Neutral tones. But look closer. Everything fits. Everything is maintained. Nothing competes. And because of that, nothing needs to. You see the same in real life. A man may wear a solid outfit, but his shoes are scuffed, slightly worn, or his watch feels oversized, trying to demand attention. Something breaks. Another man wears fewer pieces, but his shoes are clean, structured, maintained. His accessories are minimal, balanced. Without effort, he feels complete. Because details don't add noise. They confirm intention. After 40, less is almost always more. Not because you have fewer options, but because you have more clarity. You don't need 20 pairs of shoes. You need a few that are right. A clean leather pair. A well-kept sneaker. A solid boot. Each one maintained. Each one chosen with purpose. Your watch should not speak louder than you. It should sit quietly, like it belongs. And your belt should always match your shoes. Simple, but often ignored. And when it's wrong, those who notice immediately. As Tom Ford once said, dressing well is a form of good manners. And manners live in the details. So when you notice something feels slightly off in your appearance, don't look for bigger changes. Look closer. Refine what's already there. Clean your shoes. Choose fewer accessories. Remove what feels excessive. Because a man who pays attention to small things is a man others trust with bigger ones. And that is what separates presence from noise. 6. The core, self-respect. None of this holds without one thing underneath it. Not style. Not grooming. Not posture. Belief. When a man looks at himself and feels disconnected, no adjustment on the outside will stay. Because the problem was never the shirt or the haircut. It was the standard he quietly accepted. In psychology, there's a principle. People behave in alignment with how they see themselves. Not how they wish to be seen, but how they believe they are. So if a man believes he is average, overlooked, he will dress like it, move like it, accept it. Not consciously, but consistently. You see this play out in real life more often than people admit. Two men can have the same resources, the same access, the same opportunities. One takes time to refine himself, adjusts his clothing, maintains his grooming, carries himself with awareness. The other lets things slide. Small details at first, then larger ones. Months pass. One sharpens. The other fades. Not because of talent, but because of standard. Look at Dwayne Johnson. His presence was not built overnight. It was built through consistency. In how he trained, how he showed up, how he carried himself. Even at his level, he still maintains the basics with discipline. Because self-respect is not a moment. It's a pattern. You feel it in smaller, quieter moments too. The way you prepare before leaving the house. The way you check your reflection, not for approval, but for alignment. The way you choose not to walk out when something feels careless. That is where it begins. Not in confidence, but in refusal. Refusal to let yourself move through the world in a way that does not reflect who you are becoming. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. If your thoughts accept less, your life reflects less. If your standard rises, everything follows. So when you notice yourself settling, ignoring the details, telling yourself it doesn't matter, understand what is happening. You are lowering your own standard. And the correction is not dramatic. It is quiet. Raise the standard, in small ways. Choose better fit. Maintain your grooming. Stand with intention. Refine the details. Not to impress the world, but to stay in alignment with yourself. Because a man who respects himself does not need to demand respect. It is already there. You've put in the work in life. Now it's time your appearance reflects it. A man doesn't become sharp overnight. He becomes sharp through what he chooses to tolerate. If this gave you something to think about, subscribe to Silent Stoic. So each day, you become stronger and more composed. Tell me this. Which one of these have you been ignoring the longest?